Major championships in golf are celebrated for the prestige, their tradition, and their heroes. Yet the glory masks a darker underside. With packed galleries and millions of eyes watching, the stage is set not only for greatness, but for controversy. From heated accusations to uncomfortable histories, the legends of golf's grandest stages are often followed by shadows. Number 5. Rule book under fire. The Wyndham Clark incidents.
At this point, you're wondering if he's a little too aggressive there. Does the ball move? With more, let's go down to Todd.
It was the kind of moment that split a crowd. At the 2024 Arnold Palmer Invitational, Wyndham Clark stood over his ball on the 18th. What followed wasn't a miracle shot or a tournament-winning putt, but a slow-motion dispute broadcast in high definition. Clark appeared to move a tuft of grass, allegedly improving his lie. Officials review it, no penalty, case closed. Not quite. Clips circulated online, forums buzzed, golf fans split into camps. Some saw a minor lapse, others pointed to a deeper issue, selective enforcement. With no penalty issued, questions rose. If it had been a lesser-known player, would the outcome be the same? 3 months later at the US Open, Clark once again found himself under a microscope. As his ball rolled toward a divot, his foot seemed to subtly adjust the terrain. The incident wasn't flagged by officials on site, but screenshots and slowed-down replays painted a different story for the public. Analysts dissected it frame by frame. Critics accused him of manipulating conditions. Defenders cited intent and benefit of the doubt. The ruling bodies remained quiet, but the community wasn't. The whisper turned into a roar. To some, it wasn't about Clark himself. It was about a system where interpretation and reputation often outweighed consistency. And in a sport built on honor, even the smallest doubt can leave a scar. Clark's past performances have also come under more scrutiny since the incidents. The PGA Tour has not issued any updates or reviews of similar behavior in his previous tournaments. Tournament officials at both events issued brief statements affirming their confidence in the decision made. The US Open incident gained traction on social media when former pros weighed in on the broadcast panels. Some former players cited a pattern of leniency towards high-ranked players when ruling interpretation is ambiguous. Training for on-course officials has been a focus since 2023, but these situations have tested the new protocols. Number 4. The LIV Golf controversy.
It's going to grow at a, quote, exponential rate. Look, Bryce DeChambeau is an employee of LIV. I didn't think he was going to sit up there.
A sport divided. In 2022, golf's foundations shook. A new league called LIV Golf stepped onto the scene, backed by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. With enormous contracts and fewer tournaments, it lured away stars like Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson. What followed wasn't a rivalry, it was a fracture. Critics called it sports washing. Human rights groups, including Amnesty International, raised alarms over Saudi Arabia's track record and the ethics of aligning the sport with its image campaign. The PGA Tour fired back by suspending every player who joined LIV. Lines were drawn, the sport was split. Rory McIlroy took center stage as the defender of the old guard. Legal battles unfolded in the background. LIV events carried on with music, shotgun starts, and massive purses. Fans were divided. Some followed the money, others stuck with the majors. In 2023, talks of a merger emerged behind closed doors. By 2024, headlines hinted at a reunification, but the damage was done. Trust had eroded. Players, sponsors, and tours continued operating with caution. LIV Golf was no sideshow. It rewrote the rulebook, redefining the power dynamics, and forced the entire sport to ask a question it wasn't ready to answer. What does loyalty cost in a game built on tradition? Number 3, the green jacket.
The holy grail.
Absolutely. I would be really surprised if it didn't sell for over $150,000.
Tradition with a tarnished seam. Nothing says Augusta's like the green jacket, worn only by master champions and select club members. It's an emblem of glory, but its legacy is in all pristine fairways and polite applause. The jacket was first introduced in 1937, not as a trophy but as a uniform for club members, marking them as stewards of the event. In 1949, it became the official prize for the Masters champion, but the mystique surrounding it took a strange turn in the 1990s. In 1994, a genuine green jacket appeared in a Toronto thrift store. No fanfare, no protection, just hanging beside second-hand coats. It was traced back to Horton Smith, the winner of the very first Masters. After intense bidding, the jacket sold at an auction for $139,000. The sale raised eyebrows and legal questions. How did such a valuable item escape Augusta's grip? What does it say about the stewardship of the tournament's most recognizable symbol? Augusta National responded by tightening control over its memorabilia, reinforcing that the jacket was club property and not to leave the grounds. But the image of it quietly collecting dust in a thrift shop contrasted sharply with the reverence shown on television. Beneath the ceremony, the jacket's history had cracked. In later years, the club clarified that any jacket taken off the premises without approval was considered a breach of protocol. Collectors have since attempted to acquire other jackets, leading to multiple legal disputes. Auction houses now require verification from Augusta before listing a green jacket. The club maintains a secure archive of all past champions' jackets. No other jacket has been publicly resold since the 1994 incident. Number 2. Bets and boundaries. Marco Peng crosses the line. Golf prides itself on being unsullied, but as sports around the globe grapple with the explosion of gambling partnerships, golf hasn't remained untouched. In December 2024, the DP World Tour handed down a 3-month suspension to English golfer Marco Peng. His offense? Placing bets on professional golf events. He didn't wager on his own matches. He didn't throw a round, but according to the tour's integrity protocols, his actions broke the code. The fallout wasn't dramatic, but it was revealing. Peng's case was one of the first publicized suspensions since golf began tiptoeing into the world of legalizing sports betting. With odds now scrolling beneath broadcasts and commentators referencing spreads, the boundary between promotion and property has blurred. Insiders worry that more cases will emerge as players, especially younger ones, navigate a landscape where the lines are constantly shifting. While Peng was a mid-tier name, his penalty sent a message. Even minor violations carry weight. The sports challenge moving forward is clear. Maintain its reputation while living in a world where gambling is not just allowed but advertised. The DP World Tour stated that Peng cooperated fully during the investigation. He placed more than a dozen bets over the course of 3 months, on the wagers exceeding £100 individually, according to official reports. The case was reviewed under the integrity unit established in 2021. Peng issued a public apology acknowledging the importance of rule compliance. Number 1. Exclusion by design.
Major country club. Always feel it. You can always sense it. People always staring at you. What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here.
Shoal Creek in the battle for change. It was 1990. The PGA Championship was headed to Shoal Creek Golf and Country Club in Alabama. But before the tournament even began, it found itself in the crosshairs. The club's founder, Hall Thompson, was asked about the membership policy. His response, blunt, unapologetic: Shoal Creek had no black members and he wasn't planning to change that. Quote-unquote, "We don't discriminate in every other area except the blacks," he told reporters. Sponsors fled, protests swelled, civil rights groups mobilized, and suddenly the tournament was no longer about birdies and bogeys. It was about whether golf could remain silent in face of open exclusion. Under pressure, Shoal Creek scrambled. 1 week before the event, it granted honorary membership to a local black businessman. The move was seen as a public relations gesture more than a true policy shift. Still, it marked a turning point. The fallout reached beyond Alabama. The PGA of America revised its policies, vowing not to hold events at clubs that practice discrimination. Other tournaments followed suit. While Shoal Creek has since taken steps to diversify, the moment exposed a truth long whispered in clubhouses. The barriers in golf weren't just on the scorecard. Several major sponsors, including IBM and American Honda, pulled their support ahead of the event. The controversy prompted televised debates about racism in elite sports. The NAACP and other organizations organized demonstrations during the tournament. The USGA and LPGA later adopted similar anti-discrimination venue policies. Shoal Creek eventually began an outreach program to diversify membership after 1990. Major championships are cathedrals of golf, but their legacies are layered. For every legendary shot and championship put, there are moments that ask harder questions. Not about the game itself, but about the world that surrounds it. Can a sport so steeped in tradition truly change or learn to hide it better? Like, comment your take, and don't forget to subscribe for more.